And I go about halfway down and I load up my brush and I go right in under my eye. The coverage is amazing, but it never looks cakey. It's never gonna be flaky. And then to go the rest of the way, all the way down, I go to the rest of my face.
So you made the brush a little bit shorter so that you were getting more full coverage in areas like under the eyes, around the nose, kind of like, I guess, middle of the face, but especially like where you would conceal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not that you can't use concealer, but I like to, you know, anything that's gonna do double duty for me, I like to do it.
Now, how about the texture? What does it feel like you're wearing foundation? Does it feel like you're wearing powder?
You know, I am a bareMinerals devotee. Anybody that's been watching for since as long as Jessica's been here, I've been here. And I just like the feeling of not feeling my makeup. I like the feeling of my skin. I can touch my skin. I'm not transferring it. I don't have to worry about embracing or hugging someone and leaving half of my face on their clothing or on their face. It lets my skin breathe. I never feel oily, dry, cakey. It just works.
That's awesome.
Every time.
Well, and the coverage looks beautiful on that, Jess. So I'm assuming that this would be what we call buildable coverage.
Yeah, so this truly is a sheer all the way to full coverage, but we were calling this actually a glam coverage because you can get coverage pretty instantaneously, not only because of the core coverage brush that it comes with, but also because of the formula itself. So when we created this, there was a time back in bareMinerals days where we said we are never going to do a pressed foundation. But that's not the case because with technology and the way that things have evolved, there's a way to do it that remains true to who we are. And we were talking about this earlier. So we have found a way to make this amazing pressed foundation that has 12-hour long wear coverage, true to you shades, and it's formulated with 90% minerals and vitamins. So this really is bareMinerals now in a compact on the go. So this is for you if you just prefer a compact format, but you still want a foundation that doesn't feel heavy or cakey on the skin. And that was the one thing with this, and the reason we had to make it different. There's a lot of pressed powder foundations out there, but women were telling us that they still feel like it's cakey, and they still feel like the more they put on, that the more that they feel it, and they can see it in their pores. And this one just gives an airbrush look to the skin. So the one thing we were set out to master alongside of making this as good for you as possible is that we wanted to master that it will never look cakey on the skin. And this is the newest in the foundation family for us. This has only been out since September, and it's been taking the beauty world by storm. Beauty editors are obsessed with it because it's fast, flawless, and easy.
It's your newest one, right? This one?
Yeah, this is the newest one.
Question from Renee, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, Jess, but it says, can you give tips on using this to cover very large pores? So I guess my question to follow up, Jess, would be, would I use more of the foundation? Would I use the kabuki brush lower? Or maybe would I do a lighter, more airbrush feel?
I would build it in layers. I think that pores always tend to come out more when you have too much product on your brush and you try to just do it in one swipe. It's just as fast to do light layers and build your coverage, but you can build your coverage while still minimizing the look of pores. So I think the idea is to almost think of putting weightless layers on the skin. So I don't necessarily think, and I honestly think too, leave the brush all the way down, so leave it as flexible as possible so you have a lot more blending onto the skin. And with this one, you really just want to blend onto the skin in whatever motions feel best to you. But the other trick too, if you have a lot of pores here, when you first load the brush, start it somewhere where those pores are not the largest. So start maybe with the first time you lay the brush down, start maybe on the outside of the face and start working it, and then pull it in. So therefore you're not going straight into that area with the most pores with the brush loaded.
I love that tip, Jess. I never thought about that because so many of us just automatically take this brush and go right there. We start right here,
That's
right?
Your inclination.
And this is, you know, normally a decent sized pore area, right? So great tip to kind of maybe start elsewhere and then slide in.
Work your way in.
Yeah, work your way in. That's a great idea. All right, guys, so you are getting here, you're getting the brush valued at $30, and this is how you make it, like what Stacey was saying, a little bit more dense, and then for a little bit lighter coverage. That's what kabuki is right there. And then you're also getting the foundation here, which the foundation also valued at $30. So 30 and 30, that would be 60, right? You know how to do math. That was an easy one though. 30 and 30 was an easy one, but that's not what you're paying anyway. So you can pick it up and pay for it over the next 2 months and it'd be $21 and change. So that's pretty sweet. All right, so we have a lot of shades with this one. In fact, there's 21 shades, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the reasons I love that is because if you're that gal that's like, you know what, I can never get my shade exactly right, or like me, my shade changes throughout the year, this really gives you the option to get specific. So you can see some of them running at the bottom of your screen here. And of course, they'll be on beautyiq.com if you want to take a deeper dive. But maybe just for reference, Jess, which shade are you? And Stacy, which shade are you?
So I'm in the medium category, and there's 5 options there, and I wear natural number 11.
Okay.
Leah was also in natural number 11. Stacy was in teak, which is number 22. And that's great for medium women of color. And then you, Elise, because you like to get your tan on a little bit, you're in number 14, which is called silk.
Yeah, that
take a look on .com, because I think there's all the shades are there and there's a lot of options, but I want you to think of this truly as just a rainbow from lightest to darkest. I always think it's like the eye doctor and you have to line up all the colors from, the rainbow of colors. That's essentially what this foundation is. So just think about a rainbow from the fairest skin to the darkest skin and about where you fit. And then you can start to kind of even or narrow it down to where you would be. And then think about if you have golden tones. If you tan easily, you usually have golden undertones. If you burn and then tan, you're usually neutral. And if you burn easily, no matter what kind of range you're in, you're usually a cooler undertone. So that's a good way to tip of how to pick it.
And don't stress out about it, you guys. There's a lot of forgiveness with each one of these as well. And if you get it home and it doesn't work for you, you are more than welcome to send it back. I know for myself, if I get one home and it's somewhere within my shade for like the year, I usually hang on to it because my skin is such a different color in the summertime than it is the wintertime. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break here. When we come back though, we're going back to our steel. We're doing a whole nother look with Stacy with our Chandelight 8-piece steel.